Imagine going to the morgue to retrieve your loved one's remains for burial, only to be given the dead body of a total stranger. This story is a wild one, and it is currently ongoing. As we're speaking, it's in court, and this might turn out to be one of those morbid events that may expose a certain darkness in the practice of certain mortuaries in Nigeria. How does a dead body go missing in the morgue? With the level of insecurity going around the country, it turns out that even the dead is not safe. So, towards the end of July 2023, a 26-year-old woman by the name of Chinonso Okeke lost her life during childbirth in a community in Nkpo in Anambra State. After she died, she was prepared and kept at the mortuary at the hospital where she had passed. Soon afterwards, her family, including her husband, a man named Superechukwu Okeke, and her sister by the name of Rejoice Odogu, decided to move her body to another morgue that was closer to their community, to their home, to the place where they planned to bury her. And so, on the 4th of August 2023, Chinonso's body was moved to a new mortuary called the New Century Medical Complex Mortuary. Even by the name, you can tell that it's a little too complicated for a mortuary. However, they trusted it. It was the closest to their home, and it would be more convenient to retrieve her body when it came time for burial. Every fee was paid. All that was left to do was to prepare for her funeral. Naturally, in Nigeria and in most African countries, funeral costs a lot. The fees to prepare someone for burial can be overwhelming, and most times it takes family a while to prepare for it, to raise the fund and maybe do every traditional rite there is before the final burial. And I assume that was the case with Chinonso, because over a month later, nearly 2 months later after they put her in the mortuary in August, it was not until October of that same year, 2023, that they finally came to retrieve her body for burial. Believably speaking, it was said that Chinonso's husband, Superechukwu, and the sister Rejoice were the ones who both came to the morgue to get the Chinonso's body into the ambulance, into a casket, and take her to the compound for burial. However, the mortician by the name of Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph gave them what appeared to be Chinonso's body at first and told them to take it for burial. Instantly looking at this corpse handed to them, Superechukwu, the husband of the late Chinonso, saw something off. Something did not sit well with him, looking at his wife's dead body that had just been handed to him for burial. And instantly he called the attention of Mr. Joseph Ugochukwu, telling him that the body just given to him is not that of Chinonso. Pretty much he was like, this is not my wife. I don't know who this is, but this is not my wife. At this point, it's clear that it was a mix-up. At this point, it's obvious that Mr. Ugochukwu had given the family the wrong body. All he needs to do now is to take that body back to where he picked it up from and check around in the freezers and find Chinonso's body. But Mr. Ugochukwu did not do that. Rather, he insisted that that was Chinonso's body. He told the husband that, sorry, but this was the body you brought to us, and now we're giving it back to you. Superechukwu, the husband, was still confused. He was in shock. This man did not even attempt to pretend as if he had made a mistake. This mortician, this mortuary attendant, was adamant that the body he had given to the family was their loved one's body, Chinonso's body. Superechukwu in this situation, caused the attention of another family member, which is Rejoice, the sister of Chinonso. Let it be that, okay, fine, if I'm the one mistaken, let the sister of this young lady who probably know her in and out come and identify if this is the sister. Probably maybe the husband was not sure, but at least the sister would know if that is the body of her loved one. And when Rejoice came into the morgue to look at the body, she too saw that this was not her sister. She was like, nah, this is not my sister. And they instantly began to point out all the distinction between the body given to them and what Chinonso's body should look like. They first pointed out the obvious, that Chinonso had short hair. Chinonso was on a low haircut. However, the body given to them had hair of braids. The hair had been braided. Exhibit 1. Secondly, they pointed out that Chinonso was 26 years of age. Even in the death certificate, it was boldly written that Chinonso was 22 years of age, although sources are saying she was 26. Regardless of the number, Chinonso was younger looking. However, the body given to them appeared to be that of an older woman. And people could easily speculate when someone passes, the body goes through changes, especially after they have been embalmed. So it is possible that a younger looking deceased person might appear older when in the morgue. But don't forget, there was already the length of hair problem, where Chinonso is believed to have a shorter hair, but the body had a longer hair that was braided. Now, the third point this family made was the fact that Chinonso, before she died, did not have any form of operation. However, the body given to them seemed to have gone some kind of surgical operation. It was clear that the body given to them had been cut open and stitched back. However, that was not the case with Chinonso, especially when they brought her here. Normally, when I heard this, my first thought was, okay, usually in most cases, to carry out an autopsy, most dead bodies had to be cut open for an autopsy to be carried out. But for the case of Chinonso, she died from childbirth. So I don't think there was any need to carry out some kind of autopsy operation on her. And aside that, the husband and the sister were sure that when they transported her body down to this new mortuary, she did not have any cut mark. Even if they had done some kind of autopsy operation on her, they would have known. They would have seen it. If this issue was happening in the initial hospital, in the morgue where she had passed and where she was placed, it would have been a lot more reasonable. In fact, some sources even claim that they went to the previous hospital where they took Chinonso's body from to this mortuary to confirm and let them speak on it. And then it was the hospital that made the confirmation that they did not even cut on Chinonso. She wasn't operated. They didn't do any autopsy operation on her, which meant that the mark they are seeing in this dead body that had been given to them could not have been on the late Chinonso Okeke. So with all these 3 points, the family were convinced that the body given to them in that New Century mortuary was not that of Chinonso. You would think going this far to give all the distinct features of Chinonso would probably help this Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph turn around and probably fix his errors. But it was clear that he had made more than just an error. It was clear that there was something up. Because even after hearing everything that this family had to say regarding their loved one's body, Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph was still adamant that that was Chinonso. How are you going to tell a family who their loved one is? Maybe not so, but he kept on insisting that that was the body that they brought. That was the body that they gave to him. He does not know who Chinonso is or what she is. All he knows is that the body given to him for mortuary service was what he had given to them. And he believed that that was Chinonso. Obviously, the family are refusing this body, and Mr. Ugochukwu is insisting. Now, this is a problem. This is an issue. Mr. Ugochukwu is not even attempting or trying. Maybe he must have pretended to check around. Maybe he most likely told all of them to go through all the bodies in the morgue, and they went through it and realized that none of them belongs to Chinonso. So, which means that Chinonso's body is missing because the elderly-looking woman who had died of operation given to them was not their loved one. Immediately, Suporochukwu and Rejoice took the matter to the community chiefs, to the community leaders. They brought it up there and assumed and accused Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph of misplacing or selling or doing something odd to their loved one's body. This is where things start to get very sketchy because, let me tell you, it even gets more sketchier. When this matter was brought up to the community leaders, it turned out that Mr. Ugochukwu had messed up. But again, what kind of mess up would it be? Did he give another family the body of Chinonso to bury? That could be possible. Did he sell the body? Maybe. Nothing is not possible in this country. However, one thing was clear. Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph had messed up. And so, what he did next proved that there was something more he was hiding. Out of his own pocket, Mr. Ugochukwu decided to offer the family 800,000 naira, asking them to end the case and maybe bury the body that he had already given to them. 800,000 naira, that is nearly 1 million naira. How much do morticians make in these local communities? They must be making a lot. Unless maybe he sold the body or parts of the body for a bigger amount of money that he was able to cut nearly 1 million naira from it to compensate the family that he was trying to defraud of a loved one's body. The good thing is, Suporochukwu and the family of Rejoice refused. It did not make sense. If he was paying for damaging the body, it would have been understandable. If he was paying for probably not embalming the body well, it would have been understandable. But he was paying to shut them up. He was paying to keep them quiet. Because prior to the payment, he was already fighting and arguing with them, even threatening them. I don't know who this Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph is, but he was clearly oppressive because he tried multiple times to oppress the family and shut them up because he knows the power he has. And when he couldn't anymore, he thought the best way was to give them money. But Chinonso's family refused and said no, that they were not going to take the money. they went to the Anambra State Ministry of Women Affairs and reported the case. And that was how we got to know about it. They talked about, they explained their own side of the story to the Minister of the Women Affairs, explaining their situation to them. And that is where the case is right now. The case was taken seriously, and Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph was summoned. Sources even claim that he has been apprehended and would have to face a judge in the courts, because right now he's being accused of doing something to a deceased loved one. But the thing is, and this is where things really got very spicy, especially for Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph. When Suporochukwu and Rejoice, the sister, family of the late Chinonso, went to the Minister of Women Affairs, they were asked one question, which is very important. And the answer they gave to this question kind of shows that Mr. Ugochukwu was up to something, up to no good. They were asked, why didn't they go to visit the mortuary from time to time to check on their sister's body, to, confirm that it was still there? Maybe if they kept going, the mortician would not have thought of doing something weird to the body. And that was when Rejoice, the sister of Chinonso, said she refused to go because she didn't want to be clouded with emotion. She didn't want to go there and cry because she knows seeing her sister's body would make her weep. It's not clear why the husband did not go. Remember, the husband did not stay in that community. The body was brought to a closer community to the family, and the husband stayed in a different place where he works. So he most likely was raising money while trusting that Chinonso's family and siblings and sisters who were closer to her at the mortuary would be checking on it. Probably was the one paying all the fees. However, Rejoice, the sister, did point out that one of their family members tried on multiple occasions to go and check on Chinonso at the mortuary. But the problem is, when the family member went to the New Century mortuary with her pregnancy, the mortician, the mortuary attendant, Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph, refused her from seeing Chinonso's body, telling her that she was pregnant and he does not let pregnant women into his mortuary. It's not clear what rule that is. It's not clear if that is a tradition. It seemed like that was just Mr. Ugochukwu's own rule. Or maybe he just made it up because he had plans for Chinonso's body. So it was clear to the Minister of Women Affairs right now that somebody did try to go and see Chinonso in the morgue. Somebody did try to go and check her body, maybe do some changes or see how good it's being preserved. But Mr. Ugochukwu himself stopped and prevented that person because that person was pregnant. Another weird thing again that Rejoice, the sister of Chinonso, kept bringing up was that Mr. Ugochukwu consistently kept calling and asking the family the date of her burial because they weren't sure. So every now and then he would call, when is her burial? When is her burial? What date have you guys planned? Which they thought was odd. His job was to care for the body. They're already paying the fees. What does it matter to you what day they decide to bury her? If they want to keep her body there till thy kingdom come, isn't it good business for you? But clearly Mr. Chinonso was concerned as to when this girl will be buried. Most likely because he had done something with the body already and was thinking about how much time he had to maybe mask another body, fake another body, create another dummy body, or create a replacement that may look like Chinonso just so he can get away with it. And this is one of the things that was odd. Personally, I actually find it odd myself, you not allowing a family member to check on their loved one's body because they are pregnant. Under what fetish custom self? It's not even the tradition of the community. So this was just his own thing. And then you calling the family on regular basis to ask them when a burial would be. Like, why do you care? It's obvious that he had done something to the body. I would have assumed he most likely mistakenly gave another family the body to bury if that family was not sure of their loved one. But here is the thing. For him to keep calling Chinonso's family to know her burial date shows that whatever had happened to Chinonso's body was done deliberately. So even if he gave it to a family for burial, it wouldn't have been by mistake. Whatever Mr. Ugochukwu Joseph had done to Chinonso's body was not an accident, was not a mistake. It was something very deliberate. I'm glad that he has been apprehended. I'm glad the family did not take the bribe. I'm glad they did not take the bait. I'm glad that they weren't silenced. And I'm glad that they are pushing to fight for their deceased loved one. And like I said, this story is still ongoing. We haven't heard anything from Mr. Ugochukwu. He hasn't made any confession. And maybe when he does, we will update you guys on it. So make sure you're subscribed, stay following, and also stay following the story. It might be on the blogs. However, when there is a new information, we would let you know. But my only question is, what could he have possibly done with Chinonso's body? What exactly could he have done with it? Did he sell it to money ritualists? Was her organs harvested? Or is Chinonso's body, seeing that she's a young, probably beautiful woman, curled up somewhere in his house where he does something weird to it? Probably he keeps it somewhere so that people can come and do some weirdish, morbid stuff to it for rituals. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Clearly, Chinonso's body was valuable. Only God knows what he had done to it. I can only imagine. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about the story. What do you think Mr. Ugochukwu had done to Chinonso's body? And do you think it's a mistake? Or do you think this man is up to no good? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also turn on notification button so whenever there is a new video, you guys will be the first to get notified. Thank you for watching.